Welcome to another video by Hatters English. In this video, we'll be discussing the poem The Soldier by the 20th century British war poet Rupert Brooke. Let's listen to the poem. If I should die, think only this of me, that there is some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by the sons of home. And think this heart all evil shed away, a pulse in the eternal mind, no less, give somewhere back the thoughts by England given, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as a day, and laughter learnt of friends and gentleness, in hearts at peace under an English heaven. In the 20th century, England produced a group of poets known as the War Poets of England, who participated in and painted the multiple hues of the First World War and immortalized it in their verses. The group comprised of, depending on whether they wrote before or after the war, both proponents and opponents of war. Written months before the horrors of the First World War engulfed the European sensibilities, The Soldier is perceived as an embodiment of the patriotic fervor that guided countless youth into the fields of death. Rupert Brooke, whose fame owes a lot to the poem, was also a soldier who died in his prime during the First World War. The poem, written in the form of a sonnet, is a glorification of the war and the martyrdom for England, intended, of course, to lure the youth to the war front to defend their motherland. The poem unveils in the manner of a message by the soldier, the ideal soldier, who foresees a possible martyrdom that awaits him in the war front. He says, "If I should die, think only this of me, that there is some corner of a foreign field that is forever England." He tells his loved ones that in case of his death and burial at some foreign country, it is to be remembered not for his physical absence in their lives or for the possible future they could have had in his presence. They should only think that by his death there is some corner of that foreign country that he made forever England, his motherland. The depth of the lines and the following ones lies in its Genesis. The book of Genesis, where God tells Adam, "Dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return." The soldier considers his body as the dust of England, and his soul leaves behind at its departure this body like a signature, a flag that marks territory. He continues to enlighten us more about the dust that he would become. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed. This line is highly representative of the pre-war British sense of superiority that had its roots in the dominance British had achieved in the world scenario during the reign of its longest-serving monarch, Queen Victoria. However, the superiority that the poet bestows on his own country over the foreign land doesn't make the latter the unworthy antagonist. Reminiscent of the American author Robert Greene's words, "Without a worthy opponent, a man or group cannot grow stronger," the foreign land has been addressed as that rich earth, making the opponent worthy enough for the rivalry, the sacrifice, and also for his richer dust to be concealed. The soldier continues to exude patriotism in the following lines. A dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's, breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by sons of home. The poet justifies the superiority of his richer dust by ushering the listeners or the reader's attention to its origin, the origin of this dust, England. The dust is richer because the body it was once was carried, nurtured, and given a conscience by its motherland, England. The soldier here also intends to create a sense of gratitude and an obligation in the prospective future soldiers who are listening to this poem for all that the motherland has done for them. The soldier reminds these youth that the country gave everything they needed once. Its flowers to love, ways to roam, and its worthy air to breathe. The word once seems to be intended to create a sense of nostalgia. The then sense of superiority reflects throughout these lines as our soldier poet monopolizes everything with an English badge of authority. The air, the water, and even the sun has a stamp on it. The poet uses Christian images of baptism in the last line of the octave, where the plural use of the word sons can also be read as a wordplay, implying both the sun that gives us light and the Son, Jesus Christ. All of them English. The repetition of the word England is also notable in the soldier's attempt to inculcate patriotism in his listeners. He continues, and think this heart all evil shed away, a pulse in the eternal mind, no less. In the final sestet, the soldier essays to create a positive image of martyrdom by portraying an afterlife scenario, a positive afterlife scenario. The poet implores the people to think that having shed away all the evil that, in the words of Hamlet, flesh is heir to, with its disintegration, the poet has become a pulse of life in the eternal, all-encompassing mind of the God, but reassures with it that this pulse of life is nothing irrelevant or expendable. He says, being a pulse in the eternal mind, gives somewhere back the thoughts by England given, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as a day, and laughter learned of friends, and gentleness in hearts at peace under an English heaven. They have conquered heaven also. Wow. The phrase no less that tends to imply the relevance of a soul in the eternal mind also poses to be a part of the next line, where he announces that having become part of the eternal mind, he would have achieved a godlike state and would have become a partaker in God's act of rewarding the good in the world, using which he'll make sure that he repays without any dearth the good thoughts, the beautiful sounds, sights, and laughter, with blessings in the hearts that would live peacefully under the English heaven. An English heaven which he would guard from the heaven like a guardian angel. beautiful poem. So, thank you everyone for listening. But let me remind you one thing. If you want a text version of this, you can directly go to my blog, for which I have provided a link in the description box. So, thank you once again. I hope you enjoyed the video. So, if you enjoyed, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And do press the bell icon so that I can keep you updated. Well, let me mention one more thing. Please do comment so that I can get an idea of what you need, what I can do for you, what am I of service to you. Thank you so much.